Good morning and welcome to season 2, episode 10. I can't believe we're already 10 episodes into this season. I'm pretty stoked and excited about that. I think it's going to be a really great show. I apologize if I seem a little off. I went camping overnight Tuesday night and got back yesterday afternoon and then went and helped my mom, and I'm feeling a little bagged. Part of it is because much as I thought I was drinking enough water over the couple of days, apparently I was definitely not drinking quite enough water, and then doing a lot of physical exertion as far as hiking and walking around were concerned. And especially yesterday, we ended up with a lot more heat again, and we were up in the North Shore of the Shuswap, where it gets quite a bit of sun as well. And we were out exploring for some waterfalls. So if you are on Instagram, you can find at least one of the pictures. I'm going to try and put up a couple more up there as well sometime today. I just did it kind of late last night, so most of them will come up maybe a little bit later today to show kind of some of the falls that my friend and I went to. Really beautiful, a lot of fun. We had a great time hiking around and exploring. Then we drove back in our Jeep and had the roof down, and I think just a little too much sun, a little too much heat, and just kind of wore me out. And I just definitely didn't drink nearly enough water, so I discovered last night. But I thought I did, and I thought I was doing everything fine, but apparently I was a little short on what I was trying to keep myself from having, which was, I think, a little bit of heat stroke. But it was a great time. Such a great time. It was so much fun. And I think we're finally broken out of the heat wave, which honestly, as much as I love having the summer heat and all the fun that goes around with it, I am kind of happy to have some cooler weather. And by cooler weather, I mean, instead of being like 35 and above, we're sitting now just below 30. So that's cooler weather for us right at the moment, which I'm actually kind of thankful for, because I am feeling a little burned out from all the hot weather and a little tired. I went to bed pretty early last night so I could wake up to do the show today, and I'm still feeling quite worn out. It's just, I'm really exhausted today. I slept like a rock, and I actually ended up turning my fan off in my room as well, so I could not be quite as cooled off when I was about to wake up in the morning, and I would actually be able to probably wake up and feel a little bit better. But it's it was just, I was so tired. I could barely function. So I literally went to bed pretty early last night, and to wake up this morning for this, and then I started getting everything going. Did receive an email from Revenue Canada, which kind of freaked me out, but it was actually okay. They were just explaining kind of some next steps that are going on, and I'm pretty happy that they let me know this. Just wasn't super great, but at least it's like it was good enough news that I was like, oh, okay, like I misread it, and then I went back and reread it. I'm like, oh, okay, like I don't have to panic about anything, so, which is fantastic. Always love that. I know today, hey, good morning. Hi this morning, Bodu Hawk. I was going to do something up on the whiteboard, but I couldn't remember what it was, so I apologize. I don't have anything really set there to do a whole lot with at the moment. That's totally on me, and the fact that I was just burned out, and I didn't really prep anything because I was out camping, and I felt like that was probably something I needed to really kind of do to kind of recharge. Although with camping, it's really kind of weird. You go camping to kind of relax, then you come back and you're tired as hell. Like, I don't get the correlation between why when you go camping to relax, and then you come back even more burned out. It just makes zero sense to me, like how that even happens, because really camping is pretty minimalistic for the most part. Maybe it's just because we're burned out because either we've slept in a tent, which we were going to try and do, but it didn't really work out, so we slept in the back of the Jeep, which worked out a lot better, but it still was pretty uncomfortable. There was like this weird hump piece where I was trying to sleep, so I'm thinking like maybe we should have tried spinning around and having our like heads at the tailgate, and then our feet up at the front, so that way the hump would have just been on the legs, not such a big deal. I don't know if it would have worked or not, but it would probably would have felt like it would have been a lot better. Teaching your mom how to swim—that's awesome. Yeah, I've been teaching my kids how to swim, actually. Well, they they know how to swim, but I've been trying to teach them a little bit better technique. Although my youngest just likes bobbing under the water and popping back up. Although sometimes it looks like he's drowning, but he just loves bobbing and swimming and doing his own little thing. So yeah, camping is a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. Even though we were very minimalistic about the whole thing, like we didn't even pack a whole lot of stuff. It was still like this crazy amount of work to set up the camp and find and just get everything going. And then we found this camp spot and we couldn't find a lot of really great dry wood. So we were trying to dry wood as we were trying to set a fire, everything at the same time. So it ended up being a little bit more work than we were really expecting to. But teaching your mom to swim, man, that's really awesome. There, Bodu Cock, I commend you on that one. That's not always an easy task, is teaching someone to swim or teaching anyone anything, and then especially teaching family how to do things. So back in the day, I taught my mom how to text message. I thought this would be a great idea because this way she would send off quick messages if she wanted to. When I first did that, it was probably the worst mistake I'd ever made. She seriously just would not stop texting me for anything. She's like, it was constant, like full conversations via text message. And I got so tired, I just pick up the phone and was like, this was quicker if you just call me. Yeah, no, I agree with your husband. It is pretty wearing when you go out to go somewhere for. I fully agree. Like, you're all excited for it because you're going somewhere really awesome, but then you get out there and you're probably having a great time, but then it's coming back and you're just like, you're worn right out. You almost need the vacation from the vacation. What I try to do on my vacation, that doesn't always work because I'm a horrible planner sometimes. I try to plan, and then I try to plan having like 2-3 days at the end of the vacation where I can just actually rest and relax, because I think literally I think it's just all the excitement from a vacation, even camping. Like you feel worn out from it, but it's just because you're so excited to be out there, you're doing all this stuff, and then you have to drive or fly home or whatever it is, and then you're just exhausted, right? Yeah, I could see it taking a long time, especially it's hard. It's like the old saying, right? It takes a lot to teach old dogs new tricks. So just as long as you're patient with her, she'll get it. That's always awesome. That's sweet. I'm glad she's taking that up. That's really she'll be super happy with it in the end. Like, honestly, like it's something that I feel like everybody should learn how to swim no matter where they are, because at some point or another they're going to end up in water and they need to know at least how to tread it, and then at least swim back to where they got back in, or however they got into the water. Swimming is massively important. Where I live, we live on this huge lake, and that was one of the things that was super important for me and my ex-wife. It was that the kids knew how to swim, so when they did end up in the water, it wasn't such a big deal, that they would at least be able to float, tread water, and be able to swim back to shore, swim to the nearest dock if they ended up getting into the water somewhere a little bit deeper. So that was something that we really strived to make sure that they did have at least some sort of lessons or learn how to swim in some sort of fashion. My youngest, being autistic, if no one knows that, if they're just joining us for the first time ever, started teaching, kind of teaching him how to swim, basically by holding his breath, dunking underwater, and staying under there for a while, and then like moving along the walls of the pool, and then popping back up. And pardon me. And then the school had a chance to put him into adaptive swim lessons, which we jumped on. We're like, yeah, no, totally put him into this, because it will definitely help him out a lot more if he's able to at least learn some other techniques. Because I'm a fairly decent swimmer, and I know how to keep myself more or less afloat. I'm kind of a big guy, so I do have a tendency to sink a little bit more. Luckily, my head's pretty full of hot air, so it stays a little bit floated better. So we got him into these lessons to help him out, and they were the smart move, because he's actually learned how to kick his legs, go underwater, pop back up, stroke, like do like little kind of breaststroke kind of ideas, and then like float around on his back and swim around that way as well. It's been great. Now that he's getting older, he's starting to try and assert his independence a lot more, and it's a little freaky at the beach when he starts trying to exert his independence in the water and swim out a whole lot deeper. Yeah, no, holding the wall definitely helps. That way they feel like they have a little bit more control on it. They just keep their hand up on it, and then they can just kind of dunk under them, pull themselves back up. That's how my youngest did it. Like that's how he learned how to hold his breath. And I just kind of hung out nearby just in case he needed help. Um, Being that he was learning this, he was about 8, and this was the first time I'd ever seen him really doing it. I stuck to him like I just stuck like right to him just in case he needed help. And then a lot of times I wasn't sure what was going on. I literally was kind of grab him and pull him back up because I didn't know this was his game. What he was trying to do was learn how to hold his breath and be underwater. But then once I started seeing him doing it, and then I started kind of relaxing, I stayed close by and just kind of watched him do his thing. And then eventually he was like popping back up, and then he was kind of letting go and going back up, which started becoming a little bit freaky as well. So I'm like trying to stand there and help him back up. But then he started figuring out that if he gets down far enough, he can put his feet on the floor and then push him back up. And yeah, and now he goes out into like deeper parts of the lake, and I'm like constantly yelling at him to come back in a little bit shallower because either A, I don't really feel like going out that deep, or B, I want to sit on the beach and talk to my friends that are there and don't have to be in the water constantly because maybe they don't want to be in the water at that point either. So it's just trying to keep some of that fatherly control. I want to say control, but that's not the right word. Kind of around him, or I guess protection bubble around him a little bit to keep him safe while in the water, while being able to still kind of do my thing. He's usually pretty good, so I'm not always too concerned about him. I can get out there fairly quick and save him if it does come to that, but I don't want him also swimming up to the dock with his big brother all the time either, which can be pretty freaky because sometimes he just takes off and you just have no idea he's sort of his way on out there, and it's a little frightening. But he, like I said, he's a good swimmer, and that kid floats, unlike me. He seems to be able to float a lot better, so maybe I should be learning techniques from him on how to float. I don't know. But it was the beach and everything is a lot of fun. That's actually pretty much what we did over the weekend, was just hang out at the beach, and then the camping. But the swimming is great. I literally think everyone should learn how to swim because everyone's going to end up in water at some point or another. Everyone should learn how to swim. I really think that. I think that should be somehow a class in school or something. Like people should just be learning how to swim along with financial education as well. Oh man. Yeah, it is pretty freaky. Like because Mr. J, my youngest, will swim out kind of deep, and he goes under, and he goes under in such a way that he kind of goes deep, but he doesn't go very far, so he kind of pops up in the same way, and you can't really tell if he's moving. And then it takes him a while to sometimes come back up. Now he's got this really horrible game. I'm trying to get him to not do it, although it's really just him having fun, and he's not meaning or doing anything. But he'll dunk underwater, and because of being autistic, he sometimes gets kind of flappy. So he'll go underwater, and then he'll start flapping his hands, and like under the water, so it looks like he's drowning, and I get worried. I'm like, how are other people seeing this? And I'm like, if I'm in the water, I'm like, okay, dude, like you can't do that. Like you just you just can't do that. So I try to keep him from doing it. But I feel like I'm in the water and someone kind of close to him, it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, if he's doing it while I'm not in the water, it does become a lot bigger of a deal because it does look like he's drowning, and I know most likely he's not. But at the same time, I don't want to be, he's just playing, and then find out he's really not playing. I had that happen once with both my kids. They were kind of wrestling in the water. Like my oldest, 8-man, went to go get Mr. J and kind of corral him back into the shore a little bit more and help him and get him a little bit shallower. And he kind of climbed onto his big brother and was kind of pushing him under. And I'm listening, I'm kind of watching, it kind of looked like they were playing, and then I started hearing 8-man kind of say a few things, and it was like, okay, I'm like, this might not be playing. And then I heard, like, I can't remember what the phrase or the word was, and I was like, oh crap, not playing. Like, down goes the phone, off comes the shirt. No, actually the shirt didn't even come off. Shoes came off. Shoes and socks came off. Phone goes down, keys go down, wallet goes down, and I bolt right into the water. I just full on ran straight into the water and just ran out as deep as I could just to kind of grab them both up and then just kind of like hold on to them nice and gently and just like talk to them really calmly, see if they're okay, see if everyone's all right, and just kind of bring them back into shore and just kind of sat them down with me for a little bit, made sure everyone was all right. Kept my youngest with me the whole time after that because I was just all I was trying to do was just blow up a couple toys for them to play with in the water, and like crap went down. It was just it was ridiculous, but everyone was safe and sound. It's just very much a learning moment. Yeah, pretty much full blown Baywatch, man. It was crazy. not not as sexy as The Rock in the movie, so but yeah, just like full on, just ran straight for it, and just most frightening thing ever I've had. Well, second most frightening thing ever I've ever had. First one was when my youngest um, took off from the house once when I was still with my ex-wife. He he had a tendency to kind of get out of the yard every now and then, but he would go over to grandma's house, which is just around the block or like around the corner, like literally 2 houses away. And he would just go over there and go to the pool. But I guess this time she had locked the gate, so he decided that he was going to wander off on his own to the beach. And he was 6, I want to say, maybe 6, somewhere around. Like he was little though, and still like just great, super little. Looked all over the house, all over the yard. Went to my mom's place, couldn't find him. She came out. She got in her car, started driving around our neighborhood, like bigger part of our neighborhood. I took off down to a trail that goes down to the beach. My ex went kind of around where we sometimes go by the store. So she started going down that way. And all of our infinite wisdom in all this, none of us took our cell phones. Not a single one of us. There was like 3 of us running around trying to find this kid. Not a single one of us had a cell phone. I ended up down at the beach, walking back and forth. I bumped into a friend. I couldn't find anybody. She was trying to help me find him as well. And then I borrowed her phone, called back. No, I didn't. I can't even remember how it all happened. I finally got home, and I had to work. Like I had work the morning, and I had to go back to work that night. And it was like 7:30 at night. And I get home, and I hugged my son. I was like, "Oh my God! Like, thank God you're so safe." My ex told me the story behind how she found him and what was going on. And it was scary because he was just this little kid walking to the beach, completely buck naked, and cars were just driving around him, not even anyone stopping to see if he was okay. Like he just had all he had was his like iPad, and cars were going around him completely buck naked, walking down the busiest street in our neighborhood towards the beach. And then some people were coming kind of towards him, and she started just yelling at them to grab him, just grab him. They're like, "Oh, come here." She's like, "No, just grab him. He's autistic. He doesn't understand." So they finally grabbed him, and then they took him back to their house and got him like a shirt to at least wear so she could bring him home. I came home, biggest hug. And then my oldest came up to me, and he's just crying and bawling. And he's like, Daddy. I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "You guys left me home, and I was crying. I just sat on the couch." I was like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "But you did the right thing. You just sat on the couch and didn't move. Like, that was perfect." It was super frightening. But, like 2 parent fails and one. Yeah. Yeah, he's a super sweet kid. But 2 parent fails in like one night, and then I had this one at the beach a couple years ago, and it's just like, ugh. It's like, but as a parent, I'm like, you're going to come across these little issues, and all you have to do. I mean, it's not really it's small in comparison to what could have happened. Let's put it that way. I guess it's a small incident compared to what could have happened. It could have been a lot worse, everything that could have happened, but they were small incidents in the end because everyone came home safe and sound, and everyone is still breathing, and everyone's still happy. So they were minor incidents in the short term, and even in the long term, they're minor compared to what could have really have happened. Like I said, as much as they are parenting fails, I'm really quite happy that they ended up being okay and that everything resolved in the end as well. It was just, those were very frightening moments. So I guess this is the lesson for the day. Just if you're a parent, be attentive. which I try to be very much so when we're out in areas like the beach or anything like that. And as long as everyone's okay, it becomes a minor incident. In all honesty, like I was just saying, everything becomes a minor incident, and water safety is huge. I guess I was kind of bringing it a little bit more top of mind as well, is the fact that one of the waterfalls that my friend and I went to go and explore. I mean, it's not even just so much water safety as just awareness of your surroundings, and maybe a little bit of rock safety as well, and parent attentiveness was. And I mean no disrespect to the parents that had this happen to them, like at all. Like I'm sure it's a huge tragedy, and it's something that obviously just kind of quickly probably happened. They probably didn't even realize that it had happened, and they were oddly right there, and it probably just these two kids got kind of just swept away in the rushing water. Well, one of the falls we were at, there's actually signs up saying that people have died at these falls. Like there's even big warnings on the trail maps and everything. And then you get up there and they have like a plaque talking about the falls, and then these pictures of these two kids who were 15 at the time when they lost their lives to these falls. So I think that's why a lot of this water safety and learning how to swim has got to come to mind. Although I'm like, in a waterfall, you're not going to be able to swim away from it or anything, or be really water safe. You're just going to have to. If you get sucked into the fall and it's like a bigger fall, your best bet is kind of hoping for the best, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know. I've never been sucked into a fall like that, so I really have no idea. But yeah, super tragic. And I'm sure other people have lost their lives too. They just have this little memorial plaque for these two kids because that would probably be the most tragic one of them all. Or because it was just super sad to see that. As to, because I thought there would be like, I figured there's probably more, but it's those two kids that really, I guess, kind of brought it closer to mind. I guess it was just like, oh crap, like let's be a little safe. I mean, they kind of barricaded some things off. They didn't do a great job of like completely blocking it out, but they at least made it so it was a little more difficult to get to some of the edges. And when you were at the edges, you definitely want to be safe. There's one spot where I kind of lost a little bit of footing in some mud because of the spray from the falls. And I literally put my foot down and just went whoop. I was like, whoa. I was like, hey, stop, make sure the footing's all stable, and then kept going a little bit further out to get some good pictures. But I think they want people to still kind of go and take a look and take the pictures, but they definitely want people to be a lot more careful as well. So anyway, I won't be back on until Tuesday morning, just because we are down to Tuesdays and Thursdays to do this. I do appreciate you guys all coming on and chatting with me and having a good time. At least I'm hoping everyone's having a good time. I would assume so. And I will probably see you guys. Actually, I will see you all on Tuesday morning. I really hope everyone enjoyed the show today. I know I really did. For as tired and as exhausted as I really am. Oh, she's doing great. She's Harley's outside there, Bodu Cox. She basically during the summer spends most of her day outside, or most of her time outside. So that's where she is right at the moment. She just finished eating before the show and having some water, and now she's just hanging out poolside. This little blow up pool in the backyard. She just drinks out of it. I was expecting her to go swimming in it, but she hasn't yet. I was doing like a hard plastic one, dig it into the ground so she goes swimming, but she's out there swimming or sitting next to the pool. Well, yeah, I adore her too. My friend who dropped me off yesterday just loves her too, and she's got a beautiful dog as well. Like I can't remember what kind of dog she has, but her dog is amazing. They get along super well. Yeah, you have a great one as well there, Bodu Cock, and we will catch you next time. And then for anyone else who's looking to keep in contact after the show, we got some spots that everyone can do so as well. If you like what you're seeing, you can always drop us some information there, or not the information, but support the stream through donations and subscribing, which would be pretty sweet. And we will see you all later. And if you want to keep chatting afterwards, we do have our Discord channel as well. You just become a verified member, and you can go on to the after the stream chat and continue on yakking away at me. Or you can hit me up on all the different social media channels here as well, and you can talk to me there as well and see what is all new and exciting. All right, I hope you all have a great day. I know I'm going to. I'm going to sit and relax for a little bit this morning, catch up on some of the reading that I didn't do yesterday, and finish drinking my monstrous coffee. And then I got some webinars to get onto. So I will talk to you all on Tuesday. Have a great one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and always remember, ride hard and live long. Bye.